Hello students, so let's start the explanation of the chapter from trade to territory. And today I'll start with the heading company officials become nabobs. After the battle of Plassey, the company officials forced the actual nawabs of the Bengal to give land and the vast sums of the money as a personal gift. When the Robert Clive left India, his Indian fortune was worth $401, so on. Okay, in 1764 he was the governor of the Bengal and was asked to remove corruption in the company administration. Many company officials died in early death in India due to the diseases and war. Some of the officials came from the humble backgrounds and their desire was to earn enough in India, return to Britain and lead a comfortable life. Those who managed to return with the wealth were called the nabobs. It is an anglicized version of the Indian word nawab. Now, company rule expands. After analyzing the process of the annexation of Indian states by the East India Company from 1757 to 1857, certain key aspects emerge. The company rarely launched a direct military attack on an unknown territory. It alternately used a variety of the political, economical, and diplomatic methods to extend its influence before annexing an Indian kingdom. After the Battle of Buxar, the company appointed residents in Indian states. They were political or commercial agents, and their job was to serve and further the interests of the company. Subsidiary alliance means Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent armed forces. They were to be protected by the company but had to pay for the subsidiary forces that the company was supposed to maintain for the purpose of this protection. If Indian rulers failed to make the payment, then part of their territory was taken away as a penalty. And that's it for now, students. In my next video, I'll start with the Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore.